Welcome to Lunch with Leaders, the podcast where we explore what it truly takes to lead, thrive, and create lasting impact. I'm Adaeze Iloeje-Udeogalanya, a TEDx speaker, a leadership strategist, and the founder of African Women in STEM. While many episodes feature conversations with innovators, trailblazers, and leaders from around the world, today's episode is a solo reflection, a space for us to slow down and explore a leadership, visibility, or career insight together. These episodes are designed to help you learn, unlearn, and walk away with grounded perspective and practical takeaways you can apply in real life. So if you're ready to lead with intention, if you're ready to amplify your voice, and if you're ready to grow with clarity over time, you are in the right place. Let's get into today's episode. But it really felt weird because it felt I was heavily leaning and falling towards the left side. So luckily for me, there was a couch there, and that kind of stopped me. So I paused for a little bit, and I tried to get up. I still felt like I was leaning heavily to one side, so I kind of paused and rested. Eventually, I got up again and took a few steps. I was fine. I took a few more steps. I was fine. It was a little lightheaded, but I was okay. So I went upstairs, drank some water. It was still too early. So I decided I actually had a doctor's appointment that morning, which ended up being a wonderful thing and a blessing because if not, I would have actually headed to work. And I don't know if I would have made it to work. So after my initial doctor appointment, I called my primary doctor and I explained what was happening. She said I should go to the ER. I was like, I don't think it's that serious. Probably one of those things that I can sleep off. She said, no, go to the ER. So I went to the ER. You know how the ER is. Once you get there, if you're in the United States, depending on what you came for, they have to put you through all these tests. But I was there for a while. They did all these tests, and it was kind of like it was a couple of hours, and I was beginning to wonder. So in that time, I had called my husband. But one thing that happened is that the longer I stayed in the ER, the sicker I got. So really, by the time I had done all the tests and I had to wait for the test results to come out for the doctor to review them and come over to tell me what was in the test, I was already really, really sick and kind of not really in it. Like I felt heavy, you know. And then he came and said it was very good. I was like, what in the world is this? But that was the beginning of a lot of other things that I did not expect or anticipate that had to become my life. A couple of months after that day particularly, I had to wait until my husband came back from work, took me home, I fell asleep, and I slept for 4 days straight. I felt kind of better. I didn't go into the office. I worked from home for, I think, about 2 weeks, and I kind of got into that. But the thing is, like I said, that was the beginning. And for the next year, I started having what I call episodes. I had to do therapy after that because I had to be able to walk and get my balance back. So I did all that therapy, go back a little bit to normal. But every so often I have what I call an episode, which is basically when I get really sick. And they happen once every couple of months, and once every month, then every 2 weeks, and it was just my constant state. And then all this time I was doing all the tests, I was seeing all the specialists, and nobody could figure out what was wrong with me. Eventually my doctor told me, I think we need to take some time off. You're exhausted, you're burnt out, you're stressed, you have chronic this and chronic that. And that was what I ended up doing. And the interesting thing is that I had a long, almost 2 years journey. I'm still on that journey, but not as much as I was for the first 18 months of kind of getting back to being normal again. So I'm sure by now you're wondering, what is this all about and what caused it? Well, apparently, for me especially, I'm going to acknowledge that I am a high achiever, and I, according to my mom and my sister, do too much. So I actually apparently did too much. So yeah, I'm very busy at work. I'm very busy at home. I had so much responsibility, and I was carrying this for years and years and years, taking a lot of things on and not giving myself the rest and self-care and time that I needed. And I'm going to say it's not because I didn't want to. It's just because it just never occurred to me. This isn't how I was raised. I was raised to be responsible for everybody else. Even when they didn't ask me to be responsible for them, it's just my natural state. Even when I could have taken a break, I don't, because how can I take a break when the house needs cleaning? How can I take a break when it's out there? How can I take a break when so much is happening at work? And you know the interesting thing, this entire year that I was going through this, and my doctor kept telling me that I needed to take time. You know what I was thinking? There's so much going on at work. I can't take time off now. Let me get this project finished. Let me get this to this stage so that when I leave, they will have it easier. Who does that? Well, people like high achieving women, high achieving women in STEM, high achieving women leaders. This is who we are. I remember a couple of years ago reading about this woman that won Miss USA, smart, intelligent, and now on all of that. And she ended up committing suicide. And the story was that like high achieving women, they're very, very good at compensating for high stress situations. But the unfortunate thing is that when they break, they break. So it was a shock to everybody because she was doing really well. She seemed happy. She was checking all the boxes, achieving everything. She had all the degrees and still ended up being Miss USA. And she had this incredible life that everybody thought and this wonderful place to be in New York City and apparently everything to live for. But the thing is that because of who we are, we keep adjusting and adjusting and adjusting until we break. One of the blessings that I had in the time that I was recovering is that it's kind of interesting because I realize that whenever something happens to me, all of a sudden, everybody around me seems to open up about having the same problem. But in this time that I've gone through, I've seen a lot of women have come to me and told me about their situations. I've had people that literally had to just got to the end of it. Some people had to leave, just straight up leave work. Some people took a leave of absence for a couple of months. Some people just quit working. They didn't know what they're going to do next, but they needed it done. A lot of people had autoimmune diseases. A lot of people had chronic illnesses. A lot of people just had so much going on. And I know the reason why. I live in the United States. So I'm going to speak for them, but I'm pretty sure there are elements of this all over the world. If you're a woman in STEM, you're, for the most part, working in a male-dominated industry for most of the disciplines in STEM. You have to work 2 times as hard to prove yourself. And if you're a woman of color, a Black woman in America, 10 times. If you're a mom, add to that. So it's like every single thing about you becomes a dent in your career. So if you're a woman, that's a problem. You don't become a mom, that's a problem. Become married, that's a problem. You're a caregiver, that's a problem. And for whatever reason, you're taking care of your community, taking care of your family, all of these things become a problem because they count against you in your career. So you're working to prove that in spite of all of this, you can still show up. And even when you do show up, they're like, oh, congratulations, but do it again because they're not sure that the last time was not a fluke. And then all the microaggressions, all the bias, discrimination that you have to deal with. A couple of years ago, I came across this book that's called The Body Keeps Score. For some reason, especially for us smart people, we find a way to really isolate and separate our lives. Career is career, physical is physical, mental is mental. And mental doesn't even come in. But I think it wasn't until maybe COVID when people were forced to be by themselves that people now started realizing the impact of mental wellness and mental health and how it is important for us to keep it intact or take care of it or pay attention to it. Because normally we don't. So when you go to work and somebody insults you because you say something derogatory because you're a woman or shouts at you because they feel they can, and all you say, oh, well, they didn't really physically hurt me. Well, yes, they did. Because that is going to impact you mentally, it's going to impact your wellness, and that is going to impact your physical body. Because you talk about stress, you talk about working in a toxic environment, all of those things add up, and the body keeps score. So for me, the body kept score for over 20 years. But the point is the body keeps score, and one day the body is going to break. And for a lot of women, it did break. It goes anything from being sick, having chronic illnesses, all the way to, unfortunately, for some people contemplating suicide, or some people actually committing suicide. But I want us to say enough of making up excuses to not focus on ourselves. One of the blessings of this experience that I had was that I was forced to focus on myself. It's like my body said, since you don't know any better, I'm going to take charge. And my body took charge, and I was forced to stop. But when I had to leave work for the first month, I didn't even know what was going on. For the first 3 months, I can tell you, well, the 2 months after the first month, it took me 2 hours to get myself ready to start my day, to just have enough energy to get to the day. And then I had to wind up pretty early. And those 2 hours, what did I do? I spent a lot of time on meditation. I spent a lot of time grounding myself. I drank water. I actually had to take care of my body, because if I didn't, I could not get out of bed. I talk to a lot of women about taking time for themselves, and the first thing I hear is, I have no time. I don't have time. I remember my coach telling me, is it that you don't have time, or is it that you have not prioritized this thing? Because if you really think about it, she made me do this exercise where for 2 days or for 3 days or something like that, you kind of write down everything you do throughout the day. And it's actually a really good exercise, because it will tell you what you're doing with your time. And she's like, where you spend most of your time, that is where your interest is. And come to find out, the things that we spend a lot of time on are not even the most valuable things that we think we're spending the time on. So we do have time. The thing is, have you prioritized it? Because if you think about it, if you're a mom, if you're a caregiver, if you have a job, you can stay at work, you have to shop, you don't have a choice. Okay, fine. But do you have to work 60 to 80 to 100 hours a week? Do you have to? Maybe for a period, but do you have to do that consistently for 20 years? No, you don't. If our kid needed us, we'll show up. If our spouses needed us, we'll show up. If our friends needed us, we'll show up. If our families needed us, we'll show up. We will spend the time, we will do the thing, do whatever it takes. But guess what? When it comes to ourselves, we wait until we have time. But the thing is, it's time you made time for you. Because I'm an engineer, and in physics, we have the law of diminishing returns, which is basically you're going to keep pushing. And then past a certain time, you're not really making progress. You're actually doing less. So for a lot of efforts, you're producing less. And then if you also know about the law of elasticity, where, you can keep stretching and coming back and stretching and coming back. But one day, you pass your elastic limit. And once you pass your elastic limit, there's no going back. So when we keep pressing on our bodies, things happen in our bodies, and we don't have time to release those things. One day we're going to get to elastic limit, and we're going to get past it, and there will be no going back. I'm grateful that I'm much better, and I'm walking my way. I have a totally different perspective on life, and I'm much happier for it. Like, nothing is the end of the world. If I don't get to do something, it's fine. But it had to take that experience for me to actually take life a lot easier. Make room for myself, value my time, value my energy. I protect my energy so much right now, and I want you to do the same for yourself. So right now, I want to tell you something that I've been planning for a while. So the last 2 years, I've been speaking to women. A lot of women are going through the same thing that I went through. It has really, you can just search it on Google, become an epidemic. And my friend put it so well. She said that women go into the workplace well, and they come out sick, especially women in STEM, especially women in leadership. We don't want that to happen. When I started African Women in STEM, I remember our mission was to empower African women in STEM, to empower women to take ownership of their careers and lives. But I never really pushed the life part because people found it very uncomfortable when I talk about life. They're like, no, I'm just here to talk about my career. My life is okay. But the reality is that if we tell ourselves the truth, if you're not okay in life, you will not be okay in your career. If you have a toxic workplace, it's going to bleed over into your personal life. It will affect your relationship with your family. It will affect your relationship with your friends. And it will affect your relationship with yourself. And if something is not going on well in your personal or private life, it's going to bleed over into work. That's why some people might be excelling at work and all of a sudden they start, something just happens and their productivity just gets really not great. And if you look behind it, it's either they're sick, they're going through a divorce, or something is happening, they lost someone, all of that. So I want us to begin to look at life holistically, your health and your wellness. And I know that before now, if you're in corporate or if you're a professional, it's always difficult to explain to your boss that you needed a break or that you were sick because of something that is not physical that you can show them. If you get into an accident and break your leg and say, I broke my leg. But if you have anxiety, it was kind of difficult to say that's the reason why you're staying home. But one of the things that came out of COVID is that now we can actually say that. But I don't want us to wait until we're diagnosed with anxiety or depression, or our body just basically says, no, we're done, for us to take time for ourselves. And in talking with these women and seeing how this has become so commonplace. If you know me, you know that I'm always thinking of solutions that will make women's lives better. So what can I do to make women's lives better? What can I do so that we will have the tools that we need, and knowledge and everything, and the support and the community and the professionals and experts and all of that we need to help support our wellness and our health? For me, it was a journey that even started long before I actually fell sick. But it was so many years of trial and error, going through different things. But what if it could be easier? What if you had support? What if you had accountability? What if you had the tools? So guess what I did? I decided, okay, I'm going to provide that. I'm going to make that happen. So last year in 2025, I was in London and I received an award for Women Changing the World. And there I met a lot of incredible women that are doing incredible things. So there's this particular woman that I met. Interestingly enough, she is so humble because when I met her, we had this conversation. It was even her staff that came with her that was kind of like, oh, she was very quiet. But the thing that struck me was when she was called up on stage to receive an award, there was a woman in the crowd that really was so impacted by that, because when that woman ended up winning an award and she went up on stage to take the award, she basically said she had so many things that happened to her in life. And then she had come upon this framework or methodology that she used to heal herself. And then she now became a practitioner and is now helping people get better. She's been using this for almost 20 years. And for her to meet the person that created the framework in person life, she was like, oh my goodness, I want to give you a hug. You saved my life. And you have saved the lives of so many people that I've been working with for the last 20 years. So I'm going to pause here, but what I created is what is called Restore. It's so that we women can learn to live well, lead well, and be whole. So Restore is going to be a full virtual experience. It's going to be a virtual workshop guided by this incredible woman that I told you I met last year. Her name is Sube Milo. She is one of the world's most respected narrative therapists, and she's a co-developer of a methodology called the Tree of Life methodology. I'm African, she's African too. But even if you're not African, there's something about storytelling. Right now, even in marketing and everything else, they ask you to tell a story, to use storytelling. But did you know that you can use storytelling to heal yourself? You could use narratives that you build to heal yourself. So the Tree of Life methodology is globally recognized, and it's been used in over 60 countries to support healing, resilience, and identity. It's going to be a structured, immersive day where she'll walk you through the Tree of Life methodology and you have time to implement it. We're not doing this for you to just listen and hear something. We're doing this for you to transform your life. while we're there. It's going to help you process everything you've been carrying and holding in your body. It will help you reconnect with your own strength, with your identity, and it will help you live with tools that will work for you every day for the rest of your life. And beyond the workshop that we're going to host, we're going to have Restore Wellness Circles. Because again, I was thinking, this is going to be really great. We will do the Tree of Life methodology. Everybody's going to do great. But I was like, and then what? So what if you have a wonderful day in company with incredible women like you, with an incredible guide? And then after that, you now don't continue and you let go of everything that you learned. Then what? I don't want that. So beyond the workshop, we're going to have wellness circles, and you have 6 months access to wellness circles. Then also you receive 6 months of monthly practitioner-led virtual circles with experts in holistic health, well-being, yoga, breathwork, name it. These women are incredible in what they do. They have worked with so many people and saved so many lives. And I'm excited to bring them to you. The goal of this is, one, you're going to be community with people that also want to heal, be well, be whole, be present for themselves and their families, and live a long and happy and healthy life. And then you'll be supported and you learn different techniques and you learn how to continue to implement what you've learned at the workshop. All right? So this event is going to be held on Saturday, June 27th. It's going to start at 10 a.m. in the morning. It's going to be an all-day virtual workshop. And I'm going to tell you what else is included. In addition to having a full-day immersive virtual workshop, you're going to have 6 months access to Restore Wellness Circles. These circles are led by experts, by practitioners who've been doing incredible work in their field. This is a $300 value, okay? And then you're going to have access to tools and resources and the community. This is priceless. And if you make it to the workshop, you're also going to get a virtual swag bag, right? So we're talking with a lot of incredible sponsors that have things to offer you. So you're also going to get that. But you have an opportunity to ground yourself and to learn and be better. So I'm inviting you to join us on Saturday, June 27, 2026 for Restore workshop, so that you can learn to live well, lead well, and be whole. And then also have the opportunity to have 6 months to spend with practitioners who are going to help you continue that journey. Because it's important that as high achieving women, that as women in STEM, that as women leaders, we take care of our mind and our body. We take care of our health and our wellness. And we do that as part of our life so that we do not find ourselves in a situation where we reach our elastic limits. I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward and very excited to see you on the 27th. So to get a ticket for this, all you have to do is go to link.africanwomeninstem.com/restore. So that link is link.africanwomeninstem.com. And for all of you that listen to this podcast, go ahead and use the code podcast for 10% off of the ticket. So link.africanwomeninstem.com / podcast. But all this information is going to be in the show notes. So if I get it wrong, just go to the show notes and get that. And use the code podcast to get 10% off. I'm excited that we're on this journey. I'm excited that we're going to do better, because they say when you know better, you do better. We're going to do better for ourselves. We're going to make time for ourselves. We're going to take care of our body and our mind, and we will not let ourselves get to the point of no return. So this is a slightly different podcast, but I come to you today and talk to you about this because I care that women are well, because we power the world. We power our families and we power our communities. We power our workplaces too. And we need to do that with optimal health. Until next time, bye. If you have learned something today or feel inspired by this episode, I would love and appreciate it if you leave a review on the Launch Your Leaders podcast. This will help others just like you know that this show is for them too. Find and connect with me and reach out to me in the DMs. I love chatting with you. I am Adaeze Iloeje-Udeogalanya on LinkedIn. Until next time, lead boldly, create impact, and expand your influence.